Hello friends, here I am going to explain the first chapter of Civics of class 10th, power sharing. This is a very interesting chapter. Before I am going to explain this particular chapter, first of all I want to remind what you learned from class 9th Civics. So in class 9th you know what is democracy, what are the different features of a democracy, and what are the different organs of the government, what are the different levels of the government, and also you know that why democracy is considered as a better form of government than others. What is the difference between democratic countries and non-democratic countries, and also you know that why in so many parts of the world so there is the conflict that was arising among the different group of people in the countries. You take the example of South Africa, the apartheid system, where there is racial discrimination that is followed by the white government. So there is a racial discriminatory policy that was followed in South Africa. So there is a conflict between blacks and whites. And in India you can find the violence which has occurred on the basis of religion, the communal violence those are occurring from time to time. And also in other part of the world you can find more or less such type of conflict those are arising. So why such type of conflict those are arising, do you know? So this chapter will have to give you idea that why power sharing is required, and if power sharing will be done properly, so then in a country such type of ethnic conflict that should be avoided. So let us start this chapter, and I want to start this chapter with the definition of power sharing. What is the meaning of power sharing? First of all we have to know the meaning, and then we have to take the example of the two countries, Belgium and Sri Lanka, and where you can find that how the ethnic conflict it was arise. In one country able to end this conflict, but in other country the ethnic conflict still going on. That we can say our neighboring country Sri Lanka. So first of all let me to define what is power sharing. Power sharing is a strategy for resolving the disputes over the powerful positions in a social and the political hierarchy. It relies on the sharing the joint power among the various social groups within government. So in simple way I want to explain what is the meaning of power sharing. That if the power will have to share among all the ethnic group of people equally in a government, if the government will have to make such type of policies for the benefit of all the section of people equally, so then the conflict should have to come to an end, and that is called the process of power sharing. So now we have to discuss about the matter relating to Belgium and Sri Lanka. So why the ethnic conflict it was arise in these countries? First of all we have to know about what is the ethnic composition of these two countries. First of all, the ethnic composition of Belgium. Do you know where is Belgium? Belgium is in Europe, and this is a very small country and which is surrounded by the other European countries like Netherlands, France and Germany. But its ethnic composition is very complex. So people on the basis of language they are living. So the different linguistic group of people are living. So that is their ethnic composition. Means on the basis of the Dutch speaking people, the French speaking people. So we have to divide the country into two different regions. One region is called the Flemish region of Belgium, where 59% Dutch speaking people are living, and 40% people, those who are living in Belgium, so they belongs to French speaking people, and the rest 1% people, so they constitute the German speakers. So this is the ethnic composition of Belgium. So why this problem it was arise, I have to explain. Before that, you must have to know what is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, that is our neighboring country, and where you can find that due to this ethnic composition, so the conflict still going on in Sri Lanka. It is not comes to an end, but in Belgium, the conflict it was comes to an end when there are so many steps that those are undertaken by the Belgian government. So then, what is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka, that is an island nation that represents the vast cultural diversity. Tamil segment that is comprising the two groups, Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils. So who are called the Sri Lankan Tamils? So the Tamil people, those who are migrated from southern part of India for a long period of time and they settled there before a long period of time, so they are called the Sri Lankan Tamils. And the Indian Tamils, those who are recently migrated to Sri Lanka and they work there as the plantation workers, and the other group of people they are living. And also on the basis of religion, on the basis of their language, so we can also divide them, Sinhala speaking people and the Tamil speaking people. So in this way, so this is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. So then we have to see that why the tension that was arise in Belgium between the Dutch speaking people and the French speaking people during 1950s and 60s. So now I am going to explain the tension or the ethnic conflict that was arise in Belgium, that is in 1950s and 60s, between these two speaking different linguistic group of people in Belgium. The minority French speaking community, so they are relatively rich and powerful, and this was resented by the Dutch speaking people who got the benefit of the economic development and educational matter later. So if you see that this led to the tension between the Dutch speaking and the French speaking people in 1950s and 60s, and the tension between the two communities were very acute in Brussels, that is the capital city of France. So in Brussels, there the Dutch speaking people are minorities and the French speaking people they are in majority. But in the entire country, Dutch speaking people, so they are the majority and the French speaking people they are minorities. But the conflict, the reason of the conflict is that French people, so they are economically developed and well educated and relatively rich and powerful, and they always dominate over the Dutch speaking people. And in Brussels, as the French speaking people, their number is more, so they always dominated over the Dutch speaking people. So now how they should have to get equality? So French people, they want to get equality in the entire country, and the Dutch speaking people they want to get equality in Brussels, the capital city of Belgium. So that's why this problem it was arise. So then in Sri Lanka, the majoritarian policy of the Sinhala government that alienated the Sri Lankan Tamils and which led the country towards the conflict. So the Sinhala government followed the majoritarian measures. Majoritarianism means that a belief that the majority community should be able to rule a country in whichever way it wants by degrading the wishes and the needs of the minority. That is, in Sri Lanka, 74% people speaking in a Sinhala language and they are enjoying the majoritarian community and they enjoy the preferential policies over the Tamilians, those who are constituting only 18% of the Sri Lankan population. So then what is the consequence of this majoritarian policy that is adopted by the Sinhala government. So the Sinhala government established the Sinhala supremacy, and the majoritarian policy which was adopted in the Act of 1956. So in this act, now the political rights, those are not granted equally. Sinhala people and the Tamil people, so they are given the different type of political equality in Sri Lanka. So these preferential policies or the majoritarian policies, those are adopted by the government, the Sinhala government in Sri Lanka, responsible for the rise of the ethnic conflict in Sri Lanka. This is the first one. Number two, that in jobs, in government jobs and in admissions in universities, those are given preferences for the Sinhala speaking students. So in this matter, Sri Lankan Tamils, so they are not given equality with the Sinhala speaking people. And number three, that Buddhism, that is declared as the state religion, and the Sinhala, that is considered as the national language of Sri Lanka. So due to these preferential policies, those are adopted by the Sinhala government in the Act of 1956, so it greatly alienated and greatly responsible for the outbreak of the ethnic conflict in Sri Lanka, and for which the Tamilians, so they organize the civil war, and they use one type of warfare that is called the guerrilla type of warfare, and this is adopted by the Tamils, those who lived in Sri Lanka, and they demanded equality with the Sinhala speaking people in all respect. So the civil war, what is the meaning of the term civil war? Civil war means that when within a country the conflict will have to arise between the two different groups to capture the power, so that is called the civil war. So the civil war, it was going on still now in Sri Lanka, and you must have heard the name of the former Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, and who was died and who was killed, assassinated by the Tamils when he went to Tamil Nadu to address the public. Do you know what is the reason why he was killed by these Tamils? So because during his tenure, so he had sent the Shanti force to Sri Lanka to help the Sinhala government against the Tamil uprising. So to take revenge on that decision, so the Tamil leaders, so they have decided to kill Rajiv Gandhi. And there is one military organization that was formed by the Tamils, that is called the LTT. You do know what is the full form of LTT? Means Liberation of Tiger Tamil LM. LM means a state. So the Tamil people, they want to create a separate state in the northern Sri Lanka where they are living in majority. So demanding that, so the LTT activities, those are increased, and the Sinhala government asked the help of Indian government, and Prime Minister was at the time in India, Rajiv Gandhi, and he sent these Shanti or these peacekeeping forces to Sri Lanka, how to control over the LTT activities. So to take revenge over that, so they organize this type of grudgeful attack, and last they killed the Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi. So this is the ethnic conflict which has arisen in Sri Lanka. So then now we are going to discuss that the conflict, it was going on in Sri Lanka, but how the conflict, it was comes to an end in Belgium. The Belgian conflict, it was comes to an end. So what are the different steps those are undertaken in Belgium which are responsible for the end of the ethnic conflict in in Belgium. So what are the different type of steps those are undertaken that we have to discuss in this particular matter. So now, after the 4 amendments, means first of all the Constitution of Belgium that was amended 4 times in between 1970 to 1993. The Belgian leaders worked out a very different and innovative power sharing arrangement. That is the first factor that helped to end the ethnic conflict in Belgium. Number 2, equal distribution of seats. Now Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. So no single community of ministers will have to dominate over others. So both Dutch speaking ministers and French speaking ministers will be equal right in the ministry. Number 3, there is a concept of federal government. There is a power that was distributed between the central government and the state government, and then there is a third tier of government that was established in Belgium, that is called the community government. In our country it is called the grassroots level, or it is called the local self-government, but in Belgium that is called the community government. So what is the meaning of this community government? That in this type of government, whose main purpose is to preserve and to protect the language and culture of the different group of people, those who are living in Belgium. So this is called the community government, or this is called the third tier of government of Belgium. So this federal form of government that was also established, and these are the different steps those are undertaken by the Belgian government to end the ethnic conflict, and at last all the community of people in Belgium should they live peacefully. And then the distribution of power. So these are the placed at the same level to exercise the different powers. The powers are defined in such a way that each organ checks the other. What I am telling about it, that what are the different forms of the power sharing, and why power sharing is required in a democratic country. So first of all, let me explain that why power sharing is required in a country. So power sharing is required in a country because of 2 reasons: the prudential reason and the moral reason. So in every country of the world you can find that not a single ethnic group of people are living. So to satisfy the different group of people in a country, the power sharing is required. So when it is inevitable for a country to share the power among the different group of people, so that is called the prudential reason, and another one that is called the moral reason. So these 2 reasons, those are responsible for the sharing of power in a country. So then I have to explain about what are the different forms of power sharing. That is the most important part of this chapter. So in a democracy, you know that the principle of the rule of the people that is prevailing. In the French Revolution, the famous philosopher Rousseau, who have written the book Social Contract, and where he defined that a government should have to establish in a country on the basis of the consent of the people. So democracy means that is based on the principle of the rule of the people. So everyone is given an opportunity in shaping the public policies through his or her representatives, because you can't say that democracy where all the people should have to directly participate in the process of governance. So in every democracy you can find that people, they are participating in the process of governance through their representatives. So a modern democracy, power sharing arrangements can be take many forms. The first form, we can say that the power should be divided among the different organs of the government. So you know that there are so many parts or the organs of the body of a human being. So like that, the government have the three organs. So that is called the legislature, executive and judiciary. So this is the first form of power sharing, that is called the division of a power or the sharing of the power among the different organs of the government. So the three organs of the government, that is called legislature, executive and judiciary.